Okay, so I wanted to talk to you a little bit. I ran into a problem, and trust me, this can happen to you too. If you try to cut more than a few layers at a time, the material can shift with you, and then you wind up with it not right. You know, it'll not be, just won't be right. Let's see. I was trying to pick out a few that was kind of small so you could see what I'm doing. Yeah, I need some of those too. But anyway, so my squares, cut them out like 4 layers at a time. Thought they were good shape. I tried to be very careful, and you have to be really, really careful. Some of them are. That one's perfect. Nothing wrong with that one. Okay, so then I come along and that one is a little bit too big. Well, you might think, well, a little bit's not really going to hurt. But whenever you're sewing them together and you're making the seams match and everything, that little bit can keep adding on to where it keeps it getting out of line farther and farther. So, just that little bit there can cause you problems. So I've been having to go back through all of these little squares. I think I had around 500 or so. You know, there was a lot. Trust me, there was a lot. See, I wanted to show you. I don't know if you can see that or not, but right here, you see how that is not the right thing? And if you just go through picking them up, not thinking about sewing them together, then that's going to be that much off. That's going to throw your seam to match your other one off, and you got a mess. So, not realizing I had done that, because when you do several layers of cloth, it can do that. It can bunch up, it can fold, it can do whatever. It can slip. Just several different things that can happen. And that one looks pretty good. I always turn it 2 different ways to be sure. So make sure when you're cutting yours up, I know it's a lot of trouble when you're cutting out 500 pieces, you know. You want to try to get them done as quick as you can. But you might want to, you know, just do 2 layers. 2 layers you can handle pretty good. Let me see if I can get that one lined up pretty good there. Come on. Some of them was off at the tip. That one looks okay. Like at the very top of it. See, now that one looks wonky somehow. I don't know why, but it does. And it's a little short. See how it's, I don't know if you can see it or not, but it's a little bit short. Right there is where it's supposed to be, and it's not reaching it. So that's a no. That can mess you up. So, I just wanted to let you know that's what's going on. I'm going back through these. Of course, it was Thanksgiving. It was busy, and we had the kids, or grandkids, his kids, my grandkids. Okay, so that one looks good. It looks like it might be off a little bit up here. Let me see. Yeah, maybe right there. Whenever you're cutting them, sometimes it will slip as you get to the end. And you'll have just a little bit hanging over that's not supposed to be there. Okay, let's get it over a little bit. Okay, let's see what we got here. It's not much, but since I've had that problem, I've decided just to go through all of them. And if they're not right, you know, I'm going to cut that off. Because I want it to be right. It was horrible because I was having all kinds of problems with it. And of course, that being turned up, you really need to iron that again. And it might have been bunched up in the material when it was cut, and that causes the problems. See, that one looks good. I think it's fine. We'll turn it again to be sure. Line it back up on all corners. And It looks like it could be off, but I don't think so. There we go. I think we're fine. Let's do it one more time. Because sometimes one of the corners will look off. And, I think it's good. So that's what I'm doing. I'm having to go back all through here before I can start back on the quilt again, because I got 2 rows. It was totally... And it wasn't a little bit of let me show you if I can find it. It wasn't just a little bit. It was a lot. And I went back in there to fix it. And, trying to fix it. Because I thought maybe just one was wrong or something. And, let's see, where are they at? Like right here. Here's one of them that you can see. And it's off. It's supposed to be lined up straight, and it's off on both sides. So one of these before that had to be not quite right. And I'm not sure if you can see it good enough or not, but I've got to iron all this stuff back out. But see the seams? They are not right. They're not even. It's supposed to look like this one. See? It's supposed to, well, that one's off too. See, that one's off. So this is the 2 rows that was off. I'm going to have all that stuff lost. Let me move all that stuff over. So anyway, it threw everything off. And it was, I don't want it to be off. I can't be perfect. I'm not a perfect person. But, I don't want it to be all messed up either. See there on the end, it was off too. So, now the other side, the ones I had done before, were fine. They were all matching up. Everything was good. They were matching up. I mean, if it's a tiny bit off, it's not that big of a deal. But if it's a big piece, a big chunk off one side, see, those are all good. And those, like a tiny bit, that's the reason I'm cutting that tiny bit off, because that tiny bit being on here like this can throw this off. Where's it at? Just like this one here. See, it's just a tiny bit off, but it threw the one corner off there. I don't know, it's aggravating, so beware of that. See, there's a little bit off. If it was too short, it'll throw it off. So anyway, that's what I wanted to show you. So that's the reason I'm going back through here. I just stopped the quilt. I'm going, there's something wrong. I've got to figure out what is, what's wrong with it. There's something not right. And so I wanted to let y'all know that's what it was. Let's see, what are we doing now? Well, there's my little thingy. Okay. Let's try one of these and just see what it's like. This is also the flimsier material. Now, the flimsier material, it doesn't have sizing or whatever they put on it to make the material nice and thick, will also creep up and make things a little more difficult. That one looks pretty good. Let's turn it and try it again. So please be aware of that if you're going to make the quilt. That can happen. It just can. Okay, so this one is off a little bit. Let me get it all lined up there as good as I can. So that's what I wanted to tell you. That's what the video's about. This is a little hiccup that you can have. And see, this one's just off on that little corner there. Just like that. But with that little corner being off, it'll throw the one side there off. So anyway, so there you go. Just a little update. Just that much being off can throw the one side of it off. So, I've got all this much to go through. As you can see, bunches and bunches that I've got to go through. And I've got this much done. So, it's going to be a little bit before I can keep on going. Everything's slipping around and falling. So there you go. So this is Lavender Rose saying we're going to get back at the quilt as soon as we can, but I got